Imagine standing in the capital of the United States and watching the White House engulfed in flames. The year is 1814. Enemy soldiers are marching through the streets. Government officials are fleeing. Citizens are running for their lives. And before the sun rises again, the young nation's capital will be reduced to smoking ruins. This is the story of the only time a foreign army captured and burned Washington, D.C. And to understand how it happened, we must step back into a city that was barely a city at all. Washington, D.C. today is a city of grand monuments, crowded avenues, and powerful institutions. But in the summer of 1814, it looked very different. Imagine standing on Capitol Hill. There is no National Mall as we know it. No towering monuments. No endless rows of museums. Instead, dusty roads stretch across open fields. Construction sites dot the landscape. Scattered houses sit between patches of wilderness. Pigs wander freely through the streets. The city feels unfinished. Fragile. Almost temporary. Just 14 years earlier, Washington had officially become the nation's capital. It was still growing. Still finding its identity. Yet few people could imagine that within weeks, the city itself would become a battlefield. And the road to destruction had already begun. The year is 1814. Across the Atlantic, the Napoleonic Wars are winding down. For years, Britain had been focused on fighting Napoleon in Europe. Now those wars are ending. And Britain can finally turn its attention toward America. The War of 1812 had already been raging for 2 years. American leaders had hoped for quick victories. Instead, the conflict dragged on. Along the eastern seaboard, British warships dominated the coastline. Towns lived in fear of sudden attacks. Merchants worried about their livelihoods. Families watched the horizon for enemy sails. As summer arrived, rumors spread through Washington. A British invasion force was gathering. Some dismissed the threat. Others believed the capital itself could never become a target. After all, what military value did the city have? But the British were not coming for strategic gain. They were coming to send a message. A message of humiliation. And Washington was the perfect target. August 1814. The heat is relentless. The air hangs heavy over the Chesapeake Bay. British ships appear along the waterways. Thousands of veteran soldiers begin moving inland. These are not inexperienced recruits. Many have fought against Napoleon's armies in Europe. They are disciplined, battle-hardened, and confident. As they advance, panic spreads through the American government. Officials scramble to organize defenses. Messages race between military commanders. Plans change by the hour. President James Madison himself rides out to observe troop movements. Imagine the scene. Dust clouds rise from country roads. Farmers watch soldiers march past their fields. Church bells ring in distant towns. And somewhere beyond the horizon, an invading army is moving steadily toward the capital. The collision is coming. On August 24th, American forces gather near the town of Bladensburg, just outside Washington. This will be the last line of defense. Thousands of militia soldiers line the roads. Cannons are positioned. Officers issue hurried commands. Yet beneath the surface lies chaos. Many troops have little combat experience. Coordination is poor. Leadership is confused. Then the British arrive. The battle begins. Smoke fills the air. Muskets crack across the fields. Cannon fire echoes through the countryside. For a brief moment, it appears the Americans might hold. Then the lines begin to break. Panic spreads. Units retreat. Others follow. Soon the retreat becomes a rout. Soldiers flee toward Washington. The defeat becomes so infamous that some later nickname it the Bladensburg races. The road to the capital is now open. Nothing stands between the British Army and Washington, D.C. As news of the defeat reaches the city, fear erupts. Government officials rush through the streets. Documents are packed into wagons. Military officers abandon headquarters. Families gather what belongings they can carry. Imagine Washington that evening. The sun is beginning to set. Horses race through dusty avenues. Carts creak beneath piles of furniture and valuables. Children cry. Neighbors exchange frightened rumors. Nobody knows exactly what will happen next. At the White House, First Lady Dolley Madison faces a difficult decision. Time is running out. British troops are approaching. Before leaving, she helped save one of the nation's most treasured possessions. A famous portrait of George Washington is removed from the walls and rushed to safety. Moments later, the mansion is abandoned. The city waits. Then they arrive. British soldiers march into the capital. The streets are eerily quiet. Most residents have already fled. The invaders move through a city that feels almost deserted. Their targets are clear. Government buildings. Symbols of American power. The Capitol. The White House. The Treasury. The War Department. As darkness falls, fires begin. Flames climb through the Capitol building. Windows explode from the intense heat. Roofs collapse. Columns glow against the night sky. Soon the White House is burning. The elegant residence becomes an inferno. Orange flames pour from windows. Smoke rises high above the city. The night sky flickers red. Imagine standing on a nearby hill. You can hear timber cracking, glass shattering, walls collapsing. The capital of the United States is on fire. And there is almost nobody left to stop it. For hours the destruction continues. One government building after another disappears into the flames. The young republic seems to be watching its own future burn. Then something extraordinary happens. Nature intervenes. As fires rage across Washington, dark clouds gather overhead. The atmosphere becomes unstable. Winds begin to howl through the streets. A violent storm sweeps into the city. Rain crashes down. Lightning flashes across the sky. Some accounts even describe a tornado tearing through parts of Washington. Cannons are overturned. Buildings are damaged. Debris flies through the air. The same storm that creates chaos also helps extinguish many of the fires. By morning, much of the city is soaked. The British occupation is brief. Their mission accomplished, they prepare to leave. Behind them lies devastation, but not destruction without end. When residents return, the sight is heartbreaking. The Capitol is blackened and gutted. Government offices lie in ruins. The White House is a burned shell. Ash covers the streets. Smoke still drifts from shattered buildings. Many wonder whether the Capitol will survive. Some political leaders suggest moving the government elsewhere. Perhaps Washington has failed. Perhaps the experiment is over. Yet amid the ruins, another idea begins to emerge. Rebuild. Not somewhere else. Here. Exactly where the city stood before. And so workers return. Architects draw new plans. Construction crews clear debris. Brick by brick. Wall by wall. Washington begins rising from the ashes. Ending. Today, millions of people visit Washington, D.C. every year. They walk through the Capitol. They stand before the White House. They admire monuments that did not yet exist on that terrifying night in 1814. Few realize that the city they see almost disappeared before it truly began. A foreign army marched through its streets. Its government fled. Its greatest buildings burned. And for a moment, the future of the United States seemed uncertain. Yet from the smoke emerged something stronger. The destruction of Washington became part of its identity. A reminder that even capitals can fall. And that resilience is often forged in fire. History never truly disappears. It lingers in the streets, the buildings, and the stories hidden beneath the modern world. If you enjoyed this journey into one of America's most dramatic forgotten moments, consider subscribing for more cinematic historical reconstructions. And let us know in the comments, which historical city, disaster, or lost world should we explore next?